Oh, hey there, it's Justin again. I've been trying to figure something out and I'm hoping you can help me. I've been saving up for a video game I really want, which costs $20.99. I have $6.75 already saved. How much more do I need to save so that I can buy the game? As you might have guessed, we can write an equation to represent my situation and solve the problem. Why don't you give it a shot? To start, what values do we know? I know I have $6.75 saved already, and I know the game costs $20.99. What's the unknown in this situation? Right, how much more I need to save. And how do we represent something we don't know in math? Absolutely, with a variable. I'll use m for money. Whenever we're writing an equation from a real-world situation, the unknown becomes the variable. And when we solve the equation, we're finding out what that unknown actually is. We're making the unknown known. Next, we have to break down the known values. Usually one of the known values is being combined with the variable in some way, and the other one is often a total or an end value. What's the total in my video game situation? Yep, $20.99, the cost of the game. Where do you think this value will go in the equation? Yeah, by itself on one side of the equal sign. Once we identify which known value is the total, we can figure out how the other known value is working with the variable. Are they being added together? Divided? This is when we think carefully about the situation and look for keywords to help us out. In my situation here, what operation is happening between the 675 that I already have and the m that I need to save in order to make $20.99? Well, am I putting two amounts together to make the total or taking one away from the other? I'm putting them together, so we'll use addition. Because addition is commutative, we can write this as m plus 6.75 or 6.75 plus m. Either one works. So now we have our equation. M plus 6.75 equals 20.99. All that's left to do to figure out how much money I still need for my video game is to solve the equation. Pause while you do that. Check your work. Subtracting 6.75 on both sides gives us m equals 14.24. As always, we want to check our answer. When we substitute 14.24 into our equation and evaluate, it all checks out. But what does this solution mean? It means I need to save $14.24 more to have enough to buy the game I want. When we're solving real-world problems, it's important that we put our solution back into the context of the situation to fully answer the question, including the correct units. So, to summarize, when we're writing an equation from a real-world situation, we start by identifying the unknown and making it a variable. Then we figure out what the end value in the situation is. Last, we think about what operation is happening between the other known value and the variable. I've got some more examples for you. Example 1. You bought 5 movie tickets for $42.50. How much did each ticket cost? Let's follow our steps for writing equations. First, what's the unknown? Yeah, that's the cost of each ticket. We'll use the variable c. Second, what's the end value, or the total in the situation? You got it, $42.50, the total cost of all 5 tickets. That'll go on its own on one side of the equal sign. So now we have to put the other known value, 5, and the variable into the equation. What's happening between those two values? How do the number of tickets and the cost of each ticket combine to make the total cost? In this case, the operation is multiplication. We could add the cost of each ticket 5 times to get the total, but since multiplication is a shorthand for repeated addition, it's more straightforward to multiply those values together, like this. The final equation is 5c equals 42.50. Now, we can answer the original question by solving the equation. Pause while you do that. Dividing both sides by 5 gives us c equals 8.5. And it all looks good when we check our work. What does the solution mean in the context of the situation? It's the cost of each ticket. Since we're talking about money, we'll add a 0 in the hundredths place, and our final answer is that each ticket costs $8.50. Try this next one on your own. Use the steps for writing an equation and the first examples for guidance, and don't forget to put your final answers back into the context of each situation. So here we have the equation f minus 21 equals 11. Even though the amount of water in the full bottle can be seen as a total, it's not our end value, it's the unknown value. We start with the full bottle, then drink some, and end with 11 ounces. So 11 is the value by itself on one side of the equal sign. In this situation, drinking water from the water bottle is a context clue for subtraction, because it removes water from the full bottle. The order of the terms here matters. F minus 21 is different from 21 minus F, so make sure you have the terms written in the correct order. When we add 21 to both sides, we get F equals 32. Everything looks good when we check our work, so our complete answer is that the full water bottle fits 32 ounces of water. Give this last one a shot. Using the variable s to represent all the slices of pizza, the correct equation is s divided by 8 equals 3. In this case, the 3 goes by itself on one side of the equal sign because it's the end value. Each person ends up with 3 slices. In the equation, we have to figure out how we got to 3 by putting together the unknown number of slices with the 8 friends. How do we know to use division? Splitting something evenly is a context clue for dividing. Multiplying by 8 on both sides gives us s equals 24, and everything looks good when we check our work. So, the final answer is that there are 24 slices of pizza altogether. Awesome job turning real-world problems into one-step equations today. Go ahead and finish up your guided notes and complete levels 1 through 3 of the online practice. Until next time, keep questioning, keep calculating, and remember, think carefully about the context of a given scenario to figure out what operation is happening in the equation. See you next time! Hey.